today's meeting, we welcome guest speaker Jennifer DeJournett, Executive Director of the Minnesota American Majority. Jennifer will speak about American Majority's absentee ballot initiative, Ballot Out, Ballot In, and why every candidate, cause, and organization must add the Ballot Out-Ballot and strategy of early and absentee voting into the strategic plan of their campaign or initiative.
Hi, my name is Jennifer DeJournett, and I am the Minnesota Executive Director of American Majority. And a lot of people know me. I wear a lot of different hats. I'm also a 4-time elected official myself in Hennepin County, as well as doing a whole lot of other things, from helping candidates to training people to crisscrossing the state. And I see a lot of friends in this room. For those that don't know American Majority, we are the premier conservative training organization in the country. We go around to rooms just like this all across the country. Next week I'm going to North Carolina for a few days. And we train people to run for office, win, and activists just like yourself do big things. Last election cycle, I was the campaign manager for Ryan Wilson. We almost won. We were 8,000 votes to a statewide win, the closest that any Republican has gotten in 20 years. And when we reflected on this last election, whether it's in Minnesota or nationwide, this is really important for us to understand. That when we don't return our ballots, preferably early, we are at a strategic disadvantage than the left, because there is only one point to running an election. You know what that is? Win. I do not care how principled you are. I do not care if your opponent is an idiot. I do not care if your opponent is the worst person in the room and they just irritated you when they walked in the room and sat in the wrong chair. If they get all of their ballots in the box, you lose, right? And I know people talk about all these funny things about fraud and goofiness, but you know what? If we don't get our ballots in the box, we lose. And good people don't get elected, and good people don't get things done. The left got this, actually. In 2016, did you know that conservatives and Republicans and Democrats and all the above voted early at the same rate? After 2016, the left made a strategic investment in getting their ballots in early, and we didn't. And you know what happened? They started winning big all over the places, right? And that was a strategic advantage because they understand the following. It's a time and a resource management. If you know, everybody in this room probably knows who they're going to vote for on election day, yeah? Probably, right? If it's a partisan race. Local races, we do have to check them out. But in general, why are candidates having to spend zillions of dollars over a 6-week window in calling you, door knocking you, texting you, phone calling you, messaging you, sending you mailers, all the above? If you know who you're going to vote for, why are they wasting that money on you? If you voted 1 week earlier than you normally do, or whether it's the day it opens up, because election day is a 6-week window, or you vote just a couple days earlier, guess what I get to do with that money? Put it to a voter I still have to convince to vote for me. I'm having to work too hard to get a vote in I already have. And you would say, well, Jennifer, if you call me, I would tell you I'm voting for you. Take me off your list. Guess what? Until you vote, I can never take you off the list. Because unfortunately, conservatives in our side of the aisle have unfortunately become less reliable. We get discouraged, we don't vote, we hear some goofy thing on the TV, we don't vote, and then guess what? The left wins and beats us. So it's not that we couldn't win, it's that we're not voting. The other thing we do is after we vote, we decide we're done. We forget what the left has understood, that voting is just the start. I gotta convince my friend, my neighbor, my goofy cousin that talks too much at Thanksgiving dinner. I gotta get them to vote too. And that strategic difference really starts to make a big difference. And it had big consequences in the 2022 election. Did you know over 22,000 known conservatives who live in mail-in only ballot areas, that's our rural friends, did not return their ballots? Yeah, they didn't. And we know who they are today. I can tell you they didn't vote on election day. I can tell you I know that they're on the center right side of the aisle. Do you know how many votes would have been a paid statewide recount for Ryan Wilson? 1,200. 8,435 votes would have been a statewide win for the state auditor's race. 20,000 votes would have been the state attorney general's race. They were there, and we didn't get them in. I travel across the state. I have over 38,000 miles on my car this year since December, right? After I was done crying and wiping my tears away and, oh man, you did not want to be in my house at Christmas. My husband was like, oh, God, stop. I got back in my car, and I crisscrossed the state. And I heard some unfortunate things. If I had brought, there's what, how many in this room? 100, 150, Carol, do you think? Around that? Yeah, okay. If each one of you adopted only 100 voters, maybe send them a nice postcard note or gave them a call or said, you know what, I'm going to stick on these voters till a campaign tells me that they have voted. Do you know how many people in this room you could impact? 10,000 people. If you were in a meeting today and I brought a stack of postcards and handed you each 10 and said, listen, could you write a personal note as you're listening to a funny speaker up here? And then at the end, I'm going to collect it, and we're going to put them in the mail, and that's going to be that reminder to that someone just like you in a place that needs to hear that extra push to vote. What an amazing impact you could have had. I mean, and that's true no matter where you go, crisscrossing across the state. And the saddest part is when been talking to people across the state, people tell me if I explain the reason why, they would have done it. This room alone could have gotten a state auditor to win or make it closer for an attorney general to get a recount. And you know, the left knows that they were close. In the final days of the last week of the election, you know what I saw Keith Ellison do? I saw him hustling up and down doors in Brooklyn Park. Now, I don't want to say it, that'll sound sassy. Let's just say I don't think Keith Ellison door knocks that much in a typical year, you know? He was. You know why they were doing that? Because they knew it was going to come down to the inches. So our will to win has to be greater than the other side. And that starts with voting early, trusting the system. If you vote on election day, you know what? Your city now will open up day of voting in your city hall or your county 18 days before election day. Not 7, they've now made it 18. So fine, put it in a box at your city hall, get your vote in 18 days. You have now bought me 18 days that I can go talk to a different voter and not have to call you. If you already do that, thank you. You know what, now I need you to do that 1 week earlier. Go hand it into your city with your ballot into your local municipality. If you've never voted absentee before, please do so now. And did you know that this election right now in 2023, there are things on the ballot up and down the state? For example, in Minnetonka, not that far from here, do you know a group of activists went door to door and got a repeal of ranked choice voting on the ballot this November? Now, I know our friends in Bloomington tried and didn't prevail, but Minnetonka did it. Well, we're only a couple minutes from Minnetonka, and I know a good activist there that would need some help. That's on the ballot. There are ballot questions all over the state. There are candidates that need your help. There are tons of things you could do today. And a great group of people, and I know a lot of you in this room, are capable of making that difference. Well, winning doesn't start with the big things, because people always think, we're going to win with the big things, right? And that'll make the difference. That's not what makes the difference. It's the little things. It's a bunch of little things that happen that make the big thing happen. So I have got a flyer on the room, and excuse the typo, because obviously I need someone to help me with reading. I got, all of a sudden this year, I turned 50 on August, and all of a sudden now I need reading glasses all the time. And if I don't have my reading glasses, I cannot read anything anymore. It's awful. So don't make fun of me if you see the typo. Be like, Jennifer needs some help. But anyway, but we need help. So if you scan this code, you can sign up, and I need help with lots of things. If you like to phone call and are a chatty Cathy like me, I got phone calls to make all across the state. If you like door knocking, great. If you're like, Jennifer, I don't like to do any of those, but if you give me a bunch of postcards, I will write personal notes. Did you know the Democrat progressive Dean Phillips won for Congress by writing hand notes in a room just like this? He made a whole commercial, TV commercial about it, right? So even if that's something you'll do, I will take whatever you will do of any kind. So scan, sign up, and we'll make it happen. But we really need to understand on the center right, there is no election day, okay? I know a lot of people object to that, but that's just the way life is. It is a 6-week window in Minnesota, 6 weeks. And we have to use that to our advantage. That is critical. There's lots of ways to do it if you're a candidate. I do a fleet of a full-blown training up and down the state. I'm sending out an email today. I will help you. Reach out to me. I will do a training in your area. If you're interested in learning more, again, reach out to me and I will help you learn more. Again, my name is Jennifer DeJournett. My email's on the bottom of this flyer. I do have a sign up in the back, so I'll stay around for a little bit. If you're interested, sign up. Again, if you like me, my name is Jennifer. If you don't like me and you think this is the most horrible idea and you think I'm the worst speaker ever, my name is Lonnie Leitner. And Lonnie was the one who did this training today. So thank you so much. Have a good day.